Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's me, that punk, and this is a video I've been looking to make for quite a while. But honestly, I've been too caught up in my own Goonies 2 grind, so every time I turn on Goonies, it's to do runs and not to make a tutorial. But I want to take some time and make a video highlighting some of the more advanced tech that I'm using that has been helping me drop my times lower and lower. And, share a little bit of stuff. I have a list of things that I want to get through, and it's quite a bit. I'm going to be showing off some advanced tech, some Easter eggs, some other stuff, I don't know. But I'm going to be making timestamps to everything in the comments below and stuff, so feel free to hop along, hop around, see what you like, replay stuff, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. I might be a little rambly. I'm going to try my best to keep things succinct. It's not my strong suit, but I'll try my best. So, first of all, before I even start this tutorial, I want to say thank you to all the runners, all the modders, all the TAS'ers, all the randomizer creators out there, to everyone who's run this game, pushed the time, done amazing things with it. My own personal story with this is that this is my favorite NES game. I spent my entire life so far playing this game, and I love it. I have seen these records since they were on Speed Demo's archive. I've seen the discovery of the glasses glitch. I've seen Crit Rocket hold the record. I've seen Dragon Darch do the glasses glitch discovery. I've seen Professor Retro push this game into crazy territories. I've seen Zephys come up with all their wild setups. So really, thank you all for pushing this game into, the territory that it is. It inspired me to finally pick up this game for the first time and try to speedrun it about a year ago. And, hey, here we are. We grinded, and we got the fastest time right now. And I'm going to show you what's been helping me to do that, okay? That spiel out of the way. Let me tell you the first most important thing that I've been doing and discovering and combining with discoveries that I've noticed. And that is going to be menu tech. So, a while ago, while I was grinding this, I was watching all the speedrun videos out there, and I noticed that Zephys did this in their run. I'm not sure if it was intentional, because I don't remember if I went back and watched and seen if there were multiple instances of it. I know that I noticed it and ran immediately to Goonies 2 myself to try it out. So, that tech is this. So normally, to get through this room after here, you would do down, down, go down, 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 A, down, right? But I noticed that they do this thing where you do down, down, and you hold down, and you push A on go, and it'll send you through on sort of negative edge, right? It's not exactly negative edge, because it's not doing it on button release, it's just doing it, like, on the next frame possible, right? So that turns little rooms like this into something just slightly quicker, just frames quicker, right? Down, down, key, down, down, go. Right? It's good for little rooms like that, and you save a couple of frames. But where this really starts to be helpful is in rooms where there is, hold on, let me just get here. Come on, glasses glitch, it's like I'm in an actual run or something. Okay. To exit this room, you want to go down, left, down, down. Correct? I, a while ago, noticed that you could reposition your hand while the screen is turning black and queue up your next movement, right? So we're going to go down, and while the screen is going black, we're going to hold left, we're going to hold down, we're going to just hit down and hold down and go through it like that. Correct? You got that? Doing some flubbing around and some experimentation, I also noticed that you could option select in this game with these menus. And what I mean by that is if you're holding multiple directions, if you can only go in one of those held directions, the game will spit you out in that direction. So after we rescue the Goonie, we're on the keys, right? I'm going to hold down left, and I'm now going to press down to go. And the menu's wrap. I'm sure if I don't mention every detail, you'll pick up on it, correct? So now we're here, and we just want to go down, left, down, down. Those are the only ways we can go when exiting, so we just go bop, 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 and we're out of there. It makes rooms like that just a breeze from having to go down, da, 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 right? In longer rooms is where this tech really starts to add up. Come on. In this room, however, you can't really do it as easily, so I do a mixture of the button buffering where I change directions while things are black, and we do a down, down, right, down. And it makes rooms like this just absolutely fly by. I'm looking at my list right now. menuing tricks. I think that's really all I wanted to say on that. So learn to start to do that in the smaller rooms. It'll be a big help in rooms like this, where you only can go one door and then you're out of it, right? So I'm just going to hold down, boom, tap as soon as it comes up, and there we are in Ice World. Speaking of Ice World, I guess I set myself up for a nice segue here. Time for a little Easter egg in this Ice World. Did you know that this platform over here, in this area over here on the screen left, if you drop a bomb, icicles will fall from the ceiling? It seems to be the only place where something like this happens, and I find it interesting. So, fun little Easter egg for you all. But I want to show you all something else down here now with regards to the holding buttons down. This ice door over here, call it an ice door, whatever. It seems like it's the only door in the game where we want to go up and left, correct? So normally I would come into here and hold up and left and tap go twice and go. But if you hold up left or up right and you do that, it spits you up backwards. I don't know why. I'm not sure 100% if this is the only room in the game that does that, but yeah, just a little oddity for this room that makes me wonder what other programming oddities there are out there, and you know, want to investigate them a little bit. Also, when you're on ice, you can just push down and negate your knockback, just in case you're getting bopped around a little bit and you want a little bit of help. It could help out with that. So that is that little oddity in this Ice 1 section. Ice 2 section has something interesting as well to it. Just give me a sec to take a sip of coffee. So right, this would be another entrance that we would just go right and down to come into here. The way I have done this room for about 4 years now is different than everyone else. And sometimes I feel like I'm making it harder on myself, but I feel like my way, at least for me right now, and I'm trying to learn the other way, sometimes has a little bit more reliability. It's a little simpler, I don't know, but this is what I do. I'll run to the left and backwards slide through this platform, wait to clip through it and jump out. And we call it the swag slide, and it maybe looks like this. There you go. Right? Because you can just slide through the end. What you want to do is just tap right. You want to tap right as you're going through. Sometimes it eats your jump, and this is, I had a few runs die to this, which is why I'm trying a new method. But if you're scared to do the big scary jump that's this, which I'm finding the more I practice with it is not too difficult. Right? You just want to come underneath that icicle. Sometimes you go a little too far. If you're finding that you're doing this and getting stuck there, try and do it now and don't get stuck. If you're finding that you're getting stuck just like that, just try jumping a little later. It's actually a little more lenient than you might think, and you could just wait a little bit longer. But if you wait too long, you jump over it, and sometimes you get too close, which is why for 4 years, I've opted to do this, because it doesn't lose that much time, and I'm like, screw it, reliability and reproducibility over a, 0.2 second time save? I don't know. I also do just want to throw out a general statement that I have not gone into this and compared everything perfectly, right? So, when I spit out times, it's just rough estimates. I'm not the type to get in here and count frames and stuff. If I turn this game on, I just want to grind, and that's how it is with me. So I'll leave someone else to grind out the times and compare the times and figure that stuff out. Just going to take a quick look at my list real quick. Menuing tricks, ice room oddity, spitting you back and out. The icicles I showed. Ice room swag slide, other strat. Okay, so yeah, here's another little thing that I posted about a while ago. So normally to do this, you just jump directly out of the door, you slide up, and you want to get the timing right. I do what Professor Retro does, and I just do a little 1-2 count. 1, 2. Sometimes this jump is giving me trouble. But if you're a real sicko and you want to go for it, you could do the TAS strat, which is to backwards jump through it and get up there like that. It's a lot of risk for not a lot of reward, which is why I've never gone for it in a run. But if you're a real Goonies 2 sicko, you can do that little backwards slide jump through. This lady can't hit us. Boo-boo. Yeah, if you're a real sicko, you could do that. I think that's all the ice stuff I wanted to talk about. Looking at my list of stuff, it is telling me that it's time to talk about what I am calling the super impossible jump. If you're familiar with the nomenclature, if that's even the correct word to use. Ma, don't. Come on. Like I don't know this game or something. Which way are we going? Yeah. Here's the impossible jump. There are two setups for it. I'm going to try not to go over some of the things talked about in Dragon Darch's tutorial and Professor Retro's tutorial. This is like, if you've watched those, and we're going to be building on top of that. So you know there are two setups for this if you've been watching this game. This is the setup I go for, which is just to pixel perfect, land on there, and then, you know, do whatever and get over into this, right? That's the impossible jump, because it's two pretty tough frame, pixel, perfect, whatever. I use those terms kind of interchangeably sometimes. It's two of those, right? The super impossible jump is that jump right in the beginning of the game that you do about a minute and a half in. That saves, I don't know, from my splits, it looks like it saves anywhere from 1.5 to 2 seconds. Let me pull up my video real quick with this here. And just don't mind me, I'm juggling a couple of different things here right now. Let me throw my monitor display on so you can see this right. So this is what I call the super impossible jump, because it is not two inputs, it's three. When I recorded this video, I left my inputs in BizHawk open on the top left so you can see when I'm actually pushing the button. Well, I'll just show you what it looks like first, right? If you're not familiar, boom, bang, boom, right? So just loosely speaking, it feels like you got to jump within one frame of landing on the ground, of touching down on the ground. Maybe you have two. I think you only have one. I also think that there's like three. I think I heard someone say there's 3 frames of input between pushing jump and Mikey jumping. I'm not sure how accurate that is, because it doesn't always feel accurate, but just keep that in mind that maybe you want to jump, you want to push jump slightly before you think you need to, right? You can actually get to this too quickly. You can set this jump up too quickly and miss this platform, which is actually bad news for me, because I look at it like this. If I got to be frame perfect to get this, I could be frame perfect. If I got to be 1 frame off, that's a little more difficult to do in a weird way. You might get what I'm saying. You might not, but you might also. So you want to jump immediately after disembarking the ladder, correct? Then you want to jump from the last possible frame, last possible pixel on this, and you want to clip through, and the moment Mikey's eyes start to clip through that platform, you want to just jump. Side note, if you are carrying your momentum perfectly and you jump perfectly with perfect timing, you'll actually keep moving forward and you'll preserve your momentum before the game decides you're standing still. In this video, I also highlighted a couple of screenshots of like the actual frames that I pushed jump on in order to get this to work. So in this one, that's what you want to look for. Then in the next one, that's where you want to jump from. And then in the next section, that's where you want to go. As soon as you see the blue of Mikey's eyes, those beautiful blue eyes poking through, that's when you want to jump. Personally, for the 4 years I've been doing this speed run, and for the 1 year I've been like seriously freaking grinding it, I've omitted this trick every time. This trick saves 1.5 to 2. And I've still got a 1458 sum of best. These are new resets too, so I think it's closer to 1455 at this point. I've been on 1508 pace without this trick, and 1509 is my next goal. So I've just omitted this because it's killed 95% of my runs. I think in total, I've only managed to get, I don't know, 4 to 6 runs where I get the super impossible and the impossible in the same run. And it's just not worth it to me unless I'm actually going to start grinding for a 1458. You want to try it? Good luck. I've seen other people do it way more reliably than myself, but this one ain't for me, folks. I'm going to tap out of this one unless I'm putting the final sprinkle on the cake, you know what I mean? But yeah, that is what I call the super impossible jump, because it's 1 extra frame slash pixel perfect input when compared to the impossible. And I kind of use the super and regular what do you call it, notation in the way I describe some of this other stuff too, because I don't think there's like set ways to describe it. So you might hear me saying impossible jump, super impossible jump, special jump, super special jump, and we're going to get to those in just a moment too. So let me close this window out and let's get on to the next thing. I'm trying to move along so this video is not 2 hours long, but I'm also trying to leave enough details. Also, if I didn't say it, any questions, fire away. Oh boy, how do I explain this? If you're familiar with the wrong warp category of this game, or if you've watched any of the TAS'ers, you may have seen Mikey moving at light speed, flying through the game. You're moving so quick that the game can't keep up and doesn't write things properly. It'll give you vines that descend out of screens you normally shouldn't descend out of, and you will wrong warp to other places. I don't think there's been a, what would you call it, generalized term for what is going on there, and I'm trying to at least keep the terms generalized for myself. So I'll show you something in just a moment. Bear with me a sec. I might actually need to cut right here. So, okay. I'm going to try and produce the wrong warp bomb blast right now to show you what it looks like. You have to be waiting until the platform is moving in the opposite direction. And then you push jump. I think it's like, I actually don't know how many frames it is, but you want to get something like that going. You got an invisible platform here, which is really weird, and part of another glitch I'm trying to investigate. Let's rewind a little bit to not die. And then I think you want to take this down. Oh, you can't, I can't get it. But anyway, this is a very fast moving Mikey that rewrites the game and lets you take vines down through the bottom of the screen. Typically it's been called the bomb blast or whatever, but I just call it, the super special jump, because I got a special jump to show you all too. I also don't call it the bomb blast because you could do it without needing a bomb. You could do it just off an enemy, and I have a video queued up for that as well. So on the bridge return, and mind you, I'm using some of my own terminology for this too, but at the bridge return, you could do a super special jump here by letting the enemy touch you while you're on the platform. You got to wait a little bit for the platform to be moving back again, because you're basically combining momentum from the knockback from an enemy, the momentum from the horizontally moving platform, and then you jump at a frame perfect time and you get launched, right? Other people might explain this a little better. This is why I'm trying to like just go through it a little quickly. But moving that quickly and rewriting the game and warping the geometry, which is part of the other wrong warp category. That's the stipulation, right? I call these super special jumps, right? Because they're difficult to set up. They can warp the level. You can wrong warp it and all that kind of stuff. Correct? Correct. There are places like that all over the run. If you're eagle-eyed, you could look for other ways to do that. If you're going for the wrong warp category and can do stuff like that, I've found others. Nothing probably too revolutionary, but right, you could also do it here too to save a little bit of time, though I don't know how much time it actually saves over you know, just doing what we do currently. You go boom bang, and then you probably could set up another wrong warp bomb there or whatever, but that's just to say, very generally, there are places you could do this super special jump if you're doing the wrong warp category. And I would say keep your eye out for them, because some of them aren't as tough as you may think. Okay. Got that? Got that. So, that's the super special jump. When you move so quickly that you rewrite the game. I've watched these TAS'ers for a long time. I've seen what McBob X does in their TAS'ers off the horizontally moving platforms. Similar to Castlevania 2, if you are on a horizontally moving platform and you walk with the direction of the platform, return to neutral, let go of the controller, and exactly 1 frame later push jump, you will preserve your momentum and keep it going, right? And that looks like this over here. I think I have a save state set up for this. Let's see if I can actually get this in a reasonable amount of attempts. Right, there you go. You saw we got a nice big jump off of that. You actually can connect these. Unlike in Castlevania 2, you can't connect them. But here, you can keep them going, and they might look tough, but if you get the muscle memory for them, this is how we're grinding our time down to 15:08 pace and stuff. Doing it wherever we can. That is really helpful, really good tech. Let me show you an example of what that looks like just for a little bit of a time save. So if you can get it going in a run, and I've had a few runs where we get 3 or 4 of them, and it's real nice. Yes, I'll talk about that setup too with the early vine grab as well. But you do that, bing, bang, 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 there you go. And you save a shit ton of time. As you can see, Mikey is still running on the other example. Well, I didn't show any of that off, did I? I didn't show any of that off because I forgot to turn my monitor on. So let's try that one more time. Here's what some special jumps look like off the moving platforms in this area. And I might not remember to show every example off, but there are examples like this everywhere that you could save time. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit to set up the jump. Sometimes they require a little bit of setup, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Let me show you one example of that right here. On the bridge, might be here in my dishwasher. On the bridge, let's just get the dang hyper shoes. Right, normally if you want to reach this platform here, that's a pretty tight jump, but then we get it as soon as we walk up and do it, right? You get it, but if you want to do a special jump where you let the... I don't even think you have enough frames of landing to make it happen. So you're not going to be able to get that. But if you... oh boy, I'm getting ahead of myself here. If you can grab this vine early, it'll actually move your subpixels. And we do this twice in the run. And thanks to Zephys for figuring this one out. So let me show you what grabbing the ladder or the vine early looks like. We grab it from here, we pop back up, and we've moved forward. Let me just rewind to show we're there now. And this is where we were when we grabbed it. We're a little bit behind, right? Which makes it a little easier to get to this jump. But it also makes it possible to do this. Let's see if we can get it. We can't. But you can actually set up a special jump here. You have a very limited amount of time to do it. Maybe 1 frame. But you can do it here and begin to connect them. And of course, like, I'm not going to get any of them because they're just so damn tough on this one. And I don't think I have a video example of this one. So you might just have to trust me on this one, everyone. Let me see if I can move my subpixels a little more. You might have to trust me on this one if I can't get it. But I typically like to do these on platforms where I could run for a little bit. And the next one we have a little bit more leeway. Of course, I can't get it. Right? That's how it goes. Let me try like 2 more times. Maybe 2 more? Right. Okay. We can't get it. It's possible. I've been trying to pepper that into runs, but you see, it's kind of tough and there's not a lot of leeway. Let's just get to the other side of this dang bridge so I can show you what it looks like on the way back. Because on the way back, it's a little easier. Let's just move here to respawn the Fratelli up top. So you can get one going back. You don't gotta move your subpixels or anything. I wonder what would happen if we did though. Now we're not gonna mess with theories right now. Let's get a nice deep jump to clear that Fratelli. I'm doing 2 setups at once. We'll get a nice deep jump, and we get a nice little special jump off that. You can connect them. Oh, you can connect them a while, and then you just do that and do that, right? Cool, got it, correct. You can do that on the way back. It takes a little bit of time to wait, right? Because you have to wait for the platform to start moving, or else you could just go, you know, just do the whole hold left and keep on going, not let up. But you have to wait just a little bit. Boom, go. And see, look at that. Just fucking around. I get it twice. Like, it's not that bad. This is why I wanted to try and prove that TAS stands for Tool Assisted Suggestions. Don't be scared of these TAS things. You could do this TAS stuff. That ain't too bad. Just looking at my stuff. Okay. So, here's the other... that's not it. That's Ice Cave. Here's the other setup for this. So, thanks to Zephys for figuring out a good way to move your subpixels to get to the second platform more easily, not have to wait. So normally you jump out, you grab this to move your subpixels, right? You can just come over here and do this all the same. Let's see if I fuck this up. But then you can get to this a little more easily. You're supposed to be able to get to a little more easily anyway. I messed it up, but it's normally a frame perfect jump. I don't think I moved my subpixels enough. Let's try that again. Oh, Modon, everything's all off now. But you should be able to just... You gotta be kidding me. Get on it like that, right? It makes it a little easier. I think if you don't do that vine grab, it's like a 1 second time loss. Getting this early platform, not having to wait for it to come back, is a 1 second time save. So even if you just do the first portion of this trick, the subpixel moving vine grab thing, you're good to go. You just saved a second, and let's take it from this part where we moved it, and you just get some special jumps peppered in there. Every one of these saves a decent amount of time. I don't know, 0.4? I'm not really sure. I didn't math out all the math. But even if you only get the first portion of this, you're good to go. You can get like 2 bounces and kill the snake, and then maybe the bat will spawn here. Let me show you one of my best key drops ever, which is pretty nice. And if you can get this set up, it actually saves a lot on the key drops. Oh, man. Here we go. Is that... Hold up. No, I got the wrong thing up. Maybe. Nope, we're good. So, yeah. We didn't get all the connecting special jumps, but we dropped the bomb there. Go. Bing. Bang. Boom. We kill the snake. We kill the bat. Bam. Key drop. That would be the quickest key drop in the game. Mind you, you're saving time from the early vine grab, you're saving time from the special jump, and the key just falls right on your head. If you can get that enemy pattern, you're pretty darn good. You're pretty darn good to go. There are other special jumps like this peppered in all over the run. I don't know. I don't have all of them written down to show them all off, but I will show off one more that I think is really important. Hello? Hello? There we go. Let me just check my videos real quick. I showed you all that key. Okay, so, right, let me close this out. We were talking about the super special jumps before, right? What was known before as like the bomb blast, right? But you can actually tank it off an enemy. If you're doing the wrong warp setup, this is actually a pretty cool setup right here, where... And once again, you can connect them. Just bing, bong, jump again. It's not too bad. It's just 2 frame perfects. And, yo, look at that fucking time save, dude. Look at that fucking time save right there. If you get a 3rd jump, you're even more golden. You're doing real good if you get a 3rd jump in there. But I just wanted to show off that one as well. We are nearing the end. I want to show off maybe one more setup that I've been doing. And it's the exit of Dino Cave, right? What am I doing? Yeah, right here. So normally, you jump, you get that platform going up there, and then, you know, whatever. That way you could reach it. But what I've been doing is waiting to spawn the platform until we start going up. So it's moving with us, and we can get a couple of special jumps there and save some time there. That's real nice. I like that one. There's one more that's pretty easy. And what I've been trying to do is pepper the ones in my run that don't waste any time. Now I'm starting to do them all, but here's one more that is pretty straightforward, doesn't waste any time. You're going to have to risk manage these things, because sometimes if you get all of them to connect, you're golden, but if you only get 1 or 2, you're actually in a worse spot than you would be. So you got to like risk manage a little bit, but I like this one. Jumping immediately out, and bomb, just like that. Look at this, dude. I'm just getting this no problem. You know, no practice, no warm-up. It's not... They're not as scary. They're not as scary as... you might think. They're not as scary as you might think. I say go for them. Let's see if we can push this, like, who's going to be the first sicko to get a 1459? It might be me, might be one of y'all. So go for it. Now that we're here. So we're talking about all this stuff. I have a new glitch I want to show out that I'm going to get to at the end. But since we're here, I want to touch on the fact that I'm currently glitch hunting something. And... I'm trying to pull all I can together to figure this out. Maybe collectively we can figure out how to glitch hunt this together. So if you're familiar with this, let's just go up and here. There's a Konami Man door right on the top of this moving platform that you could hit. And I think it's the only Konami Man door in the game that spits you out in a different direction. And you go here, and you save from... I think you save 2 seconds if you do that. I mean, not save 2 seconds, but you'll understand what I mean in a moment, right? In theory, if you could just walk directly into that door and not have to wait for the platform to go down and up, you would save 2 seconds. You could spit out here, and you eliminate the freaking RNG from this damn lava thing, right? But the problem with that, obviously, is that we have to wait a while to let the platform move all the way down, and then all the way up, and that's not it. That's not the move, you know what I mean? I've been trying to see if there's a way to trick the game into thinking that I'm standing on solid ground when I'm not. I haven't been able to figure anything out. I've tried to move my subpixels. I've tried to, like, just see what we could do to trick the game into thinking that we're standing on solid ground. I can't figure it out. But I will say that if you're watching this and you saw when I did the super special jump in the red cave trying for the wrong warp, I was standing on a hidden block for a little bit. So at the very least, that's telling me that this game has the ability to produce something in the background you can't see that you could maybe use to your advantage. I don't know how the hell you would produce standable ground here, but if we can glitch hunt this together, we could save maybe a little bit of time and refill your health, which is pretty nice. There's also another jump here you could do, and you know, if you want... I've made it so if you get it perfectly, you get from, you know, you could jump right from here to this platform up here with a special jump. My mouse is visible? Yeah, it is. So just experiment. See what you can figure out. I haven't listed all of them. I didn't write all of them down, but, you know, as you're playing and grinding, try and find them for yourself and see what's up. See how you could save some time. Okay. That brings me to my last point I want to discuss, and I may have missed a whole bunch of other stuff, but fuck it, we ball. We'll try. So, where can I show this off? So last week, I was messing around, and I've also been playing a little bit of CV2 on the side, because me and a couple of friends are looking to race it, blah, blah, blah. But I've been getting accustomed with the floor drops in that, where you walk off the edge of a platform. I'll show you this. I need a high enough one to do this from to show you. So in Castlevania 2, if you walk off a platform... Actually, it's probably better for me to show it here first, because the platform's higher. In Castlevania 2, if you walk off a platform and whip at the same exact time, you will pass through the blocks beneath you if they're a certain distance, and you know, there's lag frames and shit to take into account. But basically, you frame perfect, walk off, and attack at the same moment, and you will fall through the floor in Castlevania 2. I've been trying to extrapolate that to here because, hey, they're both Konami games that came out within, I don't know, a year of each other, 6 months. The same people may have been coding them. The same eccentricities may have been coded into each of them. You never know. So I've been looking to see, you know, what I could do with that. It seems like there may be something here. There's some eccentricities to this. So I noticed when I was messing around... Let me wait for the geyser to go off so maybe it doesn't interfere. If you do it perfectly... Hold on, we're going to get it. Okay, you see how you end up hitting this hitch and you start, like, walk falling again? I think what's happening is the game is stacking your stuff and it's prioritizing them. It's prioritizing the attack. When the attack finishes, you resume falling. And that's what's going on there. Sometimes I can actually fall all the way to the ground with no lag, which is pretty nice. Because normally you want to jump off every platform because walking wastes a little bit of time. And of course now he's not doing it. There goes Mikey hitching up, right? That's when the game is saying, oh wait, we got to start falling again. Similar to that like Mega Man X2 glitch that was found recently where you fall through the floor. Funny enough that it works that way. I've tried to jump out of this. I've tried to get another command out of this. I think you could do that in Belmont's Revenge on Game Boy or something like that, so I was looking. And last week I was messing around and accidentally did this. Hold on a sec. So if you get it perfectly, and then you hold down, when the game picks up your function again, you're stuck in the floor. You can't move. You can jump out of it. You can't take knockback. You can't bomb blast your way out of it. Maybe we'll find something funny as we're just trying right now. But no, you're stuck in the ground. No real advantage. I don't need my bombs back. What am I doing? But if the platform is only one tile thick, you could do something like this, where you walk off and fall through the floor. I haven't found any uses for it yet. You can die. Oh, I'm mod on this guy. There you go. You can die. Actually, that's a pretty nice death warp, actually. Wait a second. Hold up. We're doing stuff on the fly now. Hold on. Can you just walk out of there and... That seemed like a decent death warp. But we don't have enough lives to spare with this anyway. Oh, right. There was one other thing I wanted to show off. Actually, two. Now I'm seeing the bomb and remembering. Right, whatever. You saw it. You've seen it. You've seen it. There's one other place. Wait, I don't need to rewind because I was almost there. There's one place I thought this could be advantageous if you have the life to spare for it. And whatever, I'll just jump through these jamokes. Let's go. Let me show you this over here. But it's new. I don't think anyone's ever seen a floor drop, so I'm glad to have discovered it by accident. Maybe we can find a better use for it. I found one extra key setup. Sorry, I'm like talking a lot. I think this is a decent key setup. You drop a bomb on that spider. Sometimes it kills him. And sometimes you can walk to the right and left and kill, yeah, spiders there and get a key. How nice. But let's just say you're coming out of this door here. Whoops. You're coming out of this door here. If we had the lives to spare, you could... Oh, come on. Of course, right? Really? The weird thing is you'll see that Mikey will keep running and his yo-yo will connect back up with us again. Come on, can I really not do this here now? Let me just get close. Let me just try. There we go. And then we death warp here. I don't know if it saves any time. Not really too sure. But there it is. Floor drops in Goonies 2. Let's try and make something crazy happen, I suppose. I'm just looking around at my list. Yeah. I realize I forgot to mention... Okay. I forgot to mention two things. First of all, funny little Easter egg I'll show you all real quick. And then we'll get to the tech. So, if you know this game, you know that there is a Eskimo man here who normally in the American version says, I'm Eskimo, there's nothing here. In this version, he says something like, what, you didn't call for me? If you didn't know, that is actually a reference to an old Japanese comedy sketch from like the late 70s, early 80s. I'm hopefully going to remember to put this in the description, but Legends of Localization on YouTube did a video on that, and they show where it actually came from, which I think is pretty funny, that it actually came from an old Japanese comedy sketch. The reason I mention this, there's a couple of reasons I mention this, because a couple of weeks ago, I was also perusing something I didn't grow up with, the Nintendo Player Powers Guide. I've said that wrong probably, that contains Goonies 2 stuff in there. Tips and tricks and stuff like that. And in that guide, they actually do make reference to that joke. Oops, what is he doing here without being invited? So, funny enough, in this little thing, they mention the Japanese comedy sketch joke. I find that very funny. There's also one other thing I found in this that I think could be helpful. And I think now we can minimize live split. I don't know why live split was even open. Wow, I'm just in the habit of booting that thing up. So some of the tips they give, not really helpful if you're speedrunning this. You understand it already. But I found this tip to be very interesting. So, okay, let me preface this. If you played this, you probably hit the weird thing that happens where you know that to get an item to drop, you need to kill 3 enemies within the same room, and the item will drop, right? Sometimes you may have found that it drops on 2. Why does that happen? Myself and a good friend of mine, well, they were doing most of it because they're the RAM searcher. I'm the idea guy, but they were RAM searching and looking this up with me. So here's what's going on. If you pull up RAM search and you find these values, you'll notice that you start off at a value of 3. And when you kill an enemy, it goes down to 2, then it goes down to 1, then it goes down to 0 and loops back around to 3. Well, it loops back around to 3 in one shot. When it loops is when something happens. We found that sometimes it would skip a number. Sometimes you would get to go 3, 2, 1, and then it loops back around into 2, so you only have to kill 2 enemies for the next key drop. Knowing that, it sets up the possibilities to, like, kill 3 enemies, not get it, kill 2 more, and then get it, like, in the same screen if you could sort of finagle that and manage that. But we were wondering why. I'll try and show that off, but I also want to show off that in this Nintendo Player's Power Guide, it alludes to it by saying, just before the enemy appears while it's still smoking, attack and destroy your enemy. This is a handy technique for earning the life bomb and Molotov cocktail. If you didn't know that there's something underneath the surface, that might not even make any sense to you. But I think it's alluding to the fact that you can get items to drop if you kill enemies while they are still generating on screen. And that is exactly what we found when we messed around with it a little bit. Let me see if I could pull this up. There's 2 factors that go into this, I believe. And let me see if I could just get something set up to make this happen, okay? Just bear with me a moment. Let me just get 1. Are you going to spawn? Where do I have to be? 2. 3. Normally takes 3 to get something to appear, right? Well, if you're also familiar with the ice cave section where you jump through the walrus attack and kill him in 1 attack, he normally takes 2 attacks, but your yo-yo deals damage while it retracts as well. So what we're thinking is it has to do with your yo-yo kind of hitting the enemy on the way back and on the way there, getting 2 hits in the same instance and getting an item to drop. I'm going to try and pull it off here, but of course, you know, it's going to be stubborn. But it's something like that we figured out. Not doing it right. Let's see if I can get this. Sometimes it wants to be stubborn, but at the very least, you all can proceed now knowing that it's not a bug, it's a feature. And maybe we can crack this a little bit. And that would help with key drops, because there are some areas where if you could hit 1 or 2 extra enemies and not waste much time, it would be quicker than trying to get a key in a different area. Because roughly, I think each key drop takes like 2 seconds, except for the first one. Come on, man. Are you going to really be this problematic? Okay, so there you go. We got it to appear. We could even rewind and see when we hit it. I think it had fully spawned by the time we hit it, funny enough. But yeah, there's some oddities there. And there's some funny stuff. There's some funny business going on. No, we killed it before it even spawned. So if you kill it there, we should be able to even... Yeah. And it's not hard set what the enemy is going to give you until I think you kill it. So you can rewind and get different... Whoops, I just hit my... Oh, was my desktop audio... Okay, good. My desktop audio is off. I accidentally hit play on some music I had going. But yeah, there's some eccentricities to that there. Key drops. I'm just looking at my thing. Key drops, floor drops, super special jumps. I honestly think that's everything. I think that's everything I can think of. So we're going to wrap it up here. and I'm going to say, it's fun to play the Goonies too. Try these techniques, see what you could do, and good luck, have fun, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye.